Leah Ray with Digital Trailblazer, and welcome to the Digital Trailblazer podcast bonus success path episodes. This is where we feature up and coming online entrepreneurs and see how they're beginning their journey and walk with them through their very first steps of building and growing a successful online business from the start. So in today's episode, we have Dawn Graham. Welcome, Dawn. Happy to have you with us today.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah. Go ahead and introduce yourself and let our audience know what you do and how you help people.
Yeah, so I'm Dawn Graham. I have a girl in her coaching, and I basically help women be more successful in corporate America, as well as balance their lives outside of work. And I've done a lot of research, and I found that women, as we all know, are paid in general about 17% less than their male counterparts. And so I've been able to help women find new jobs, negotiate better salaries, and ultimately be able to balance their life a little more. And then after they get the job, it's what do we do? How do I become successful at balancing my work life and my home life and kids? And so I help them strategize on that and become more efficient at home.
That's awesome. So how did you begin this journey? Where did this all start for you?
Yeah. So, well, growing up, I was raised by a single mom. My dad unfortunately passed away when I was really young, and it was back in the 70s when women really weren't even allowed to get loans on their own or have credit cards in their own names, and they had to have their husbands co-sign or whatever to get loans. And so when my dad had passed away, he was running the business, our family business, and my mom was told to not be involved in it, to mind her own business or whatever. And so essentially I was a little girl watching this, my mom trying to figure out, how am I going to support these two girls and thrive and have a nice family life and everything. And so it really just taught me that you can't necessarily rely on somebody else for income. And so I've always had a passion about that. Just, there's seasons and there's times where maybe you do rely on other people, your husband or your spouse, but ultimately you need to be prepared for whatever life throws your way. My mom did not expect to be a single mom at 42. So that is what led me to it. And then just working with a lot of women and seeing that they're highly underpaid and overqualified oftentimes.
That's a really powerful story. I was raised by a single mom as well.
Okay.
She had 4 daughters, and it was a hot mess sometimes, but we made it through. Yeah, I had absolutely had the concept of being able to take care of myself always. Like at any time, I knew that I had to be able to take care of myself, and I couldn't rely on other people. So I totally understand that. So what brought you into the coaching side in particular? How did this really develop for you?
Yeah. So after, thinking about I've been in corporate America for years and years, probably 20, 30, almost 30 years, which is aging me. I noticed that women needed help to balance both their, corporate life and their home life, especially once I had kids. And I was trying, when I first started, having kids, I was trying to do it all, be the best worker and then also be the best mom. And I was failing in every aspect. So I really thought about it and dug deep and found that I needed help from outside as well as, from my spouse. And then also that I could take a lot of the efficiencies that I've learned and corners that I've cut to still have a really nice life and teach other women how to do that.
That's awesome. So what are your proudest and most happy success stories that you've helped create with your clients?
Yeah. So one of my clients came to me, it was probably about a year ago now. And she was just really struggling with being in the same position for, I think it was like 8 years, and her yearly bonuses weren't keeping up with inflation. And she was just kind of stuck in a position, and she knew she needed to make more money in order to help better support her family and to also have more time for herself and not be as stressed all the time. So I knew we had to come up with a strategy. So the first thing we did was figure out, how are you going to find a new job? Where are you going to look for a new job? Then once she got these interviews, we need to figure out an interview strategy. And then after she got the interviews and, was offered some position, a negotiation strategy. So with all of that, I was able to help her negotiate about $40,000 more than she was making, a higher position.
Wow.
And then additionally, she was just feels so much happier now because she's not as stressed on the month-to-month basis. So, and then we worked on getting her more organized and cutting some corners in order to have a better life. So that's like my most proudest one.
I love that. I know back when I was in corporate, negotiations was not my jam. I mean, even today, like if I have to buy something and it's like a negotiating, like I'm just like, Todd, handle it. I'm not, it's not my thing. It's just not how I was raised to think. And I'm like, I'm really good at sales, but that's a very different dynamic in my mind than someone who's like, you're trying to buy something, but then you're going to negotiate down, and like, I can't wrap my head around it in any way. And when I was in corporate, I was amazing at what I did, but I was also young, and I just, you know, like I didn't know how to deal with any of that. So I think this is really, really helpful for folks. You know, that it's actually helping to guide people through this process, because I know my worth to those companies was incredibly high, but like actually negotiating to get it, like,
well, I totally agree with you. And the hard thing about it is we're not taught as women in general to do that. And it's not necessarily like looked upon well. So but when you do it, you have such a sense of accomplishment. And usually the answer is not no. Usually they will negotiate for you.
Yeah. I later got into management, and they're like, I was naive, and I was like, oh, it's a posted like, you know, range on the job site. It says this to this. And so if I'm in between that towards the top, that's great. And then little did I know, it's common. The top that you put publicly is like half of what the range really could be. And I was like, what?
I know, it's a little eye-opening once you see the inner workings, and once you do it a few times, it is eye-opening. Definitely.
Yeah. It was nuts when I went on the other side of it, and I was like, oh, I should have known. I wish I had known this, because I would have figured out how to negotiate. No, that's awesome. So how do you get clients? Like, where do people find you? Like, what's your process for bringing in new clients?
Yeah. So the way I get clients is, well, I have an email list. So that is one of them. And I've taken your course. So that was like one of the most important things I learned from it was the email list. And then I have a Facebook group, Instagram, and I have a lead magnet. And so I do Facebook ads. So that's where I really get a lot of my leads, and those turn into clients, as well as referrals. Those are huge and the best, really.
Yeah. I mean, I love having all the systems in place and being able to drive traffic and know that you're in control of things, but I'll take referrals all day long.
Those are nice. Yeah.
Those are people coming with, you know, card in hand, and like the decision was already been made to join, and they're just ready because it's an awesome program. So, getting referrals is so helpful. I think what the process, the system that you're having is great. Really leveraging the Facebook groups, you know, really nurturing them well and making sure that you're getting fresh blood in there every day. I think one of the biggest challenges people have is that they get the Facebook group going, and maybe for whatever reason, they don't keep inviting people, or they don't have something running to actively get new people in there every single day. And then it starts to die out. And so there's all kinds of things that you can do, engagement posts and different stuff to really boost things along. But our hottest leads are always coming from that Facebook group. They've been on a live training. They're excited. They love the energy that what we teach, and now they're ready to take that next step. So I think you're exactly on the right step for that. So do you work with people one-on-one? Do you do group program, or what does that look like?
So good question. I do one-on-one coaching, and that one I really enjoy because you get to know your clients a little better, and vice versa. Yeah. And then I'm going to be starting to do a little more group coaching and some low ticket offers next year. That's kind of on my path, and I'm mapping it out in the next couple of weeks is what I'm planning on doing. So
that's awesome. I love, I love lower ticket offers as long as you have your upsell ready. Yeah, I think a lot of people get it confused and they're like, well, I'm going to start with my $29 thing or my whatever.
Yeah.
And in reality, it's like, well, that like you're never going to be profitable with that if you try to drive paid ads to that. The only reason people like the big names, you see them driving traffic to a $47 thing, it's costing them $700 to get that lead.
Right.
And they can only do that because 1 out of 4 then buy their $5,000 or $10,000 thing that they're selling on the back end. So yes, get the high ticket rolling, have your one-on-one, have a way to make, good profits. And then you can start building out some of those lower things for people who aren't ready for that level, that one-on-one level of support and success.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that you might want to think about as well. I actually have a friend who has done really well with YouTube, and she is a career coach.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And so she live streams weekly, and she's specific to helping people get into tech companies, get into big tech.
Okay.
And so she's pretty niche down, but it's every week she had just a live Q&A and people show up and she teaches and whatever. And she's created a whole tribe there, making really good money, getting just super consistent week after week, every single time. And just giving really good value. And she fills up her coaching program just through that.
Well, that's interesting. My corporate job or my 9 to 5 is high tech. So that's interesting. We'll have to check her out. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what her brand name is. I know what her real name is.
Yeah. I'll
find it.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
that's
I
really
think that would, she's doing really well with that. And she completely has filled up her program with just doing a live Q&A once a week on YouTube. So knowing,
that's really cool.
Knowing your people and where they hang out is key, right? So especially, if you do talk a lot about tech, then women looking for tech jobs, that would definitely make sense. I feel like tech people are on YouTube.
I was just going to say was exactly what I thought when you said that. Tech people are on YouTube. Yeah.
Tech people are on YouTube. So, it comes down, it's just getting in front of the people who are your target audience. So knowing who they are and knowing where they hang out is obviously critical to all of this. So absolutely. So, so you said are you launching like a cohort, like everybody's going to get started at the same time, or is it an evergreen thing, or what does your group program look like that you're working on?
Yeah. So my group program, what it looks like right now is then I'll launch it in 2024. And I've done one last year. But it's actually every other week. I find that personally, and then also a lot of people I've talked about with if you're in corporate America or careers, it gives you a little more time in between to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So it's a 3-month program, and every other week, and we just go through the different phases, and everyone can kind of start where they're at, but you'll learn a lot about mindset and negotiation, but also the mindset around negotiation, because you kind of have to take a step back and detach from the end result in order to do it. Stuff like that. So just a lot of different, and abundance and all of that. So
that's important. It's funny because when I teach sales, I have to start with mindset too. So, it's that whole mindset going into it, your posture, how you're thinking about it, how you have to, detach from the outcome, marry the process. Like, it's so similar, but I still I crush it in the sales world. I am not a negotiator. Negotiator side. I'm like the guy, Todd's like dragging me out of the car dealership. We're walking away. And I'm like, no, but I want the car.
Nope. You're all I have to have it.
And then, we get, driving down the road, then surprise, he gets a phone call like, oh, I talked to my manager. I guess we can do it.
I know.
Okay, you handle this stuff from now on. I'm not going to be involved.
That's good though. That's your strength, his strength, and so it's like perfect. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I could, as you grow and as you keep going from here, I could definitely see you adding a Q&A live show, support show for women in corporate, helping them climb the corporate ladder, crushing it. Even you could live stream on YouTube and even dual purpose it to a podcast or something too, which would be pretty
fun. I love that idea. So thank you. That's really good.
Yeah, you're welcome. So helping and think of the title or think of something fun, just helping women crush it in corporate or in life or whatever, whatever that sounds like for you. But I think that would be a really great traffic strategy and fun as well. I know since we've started our podcast, I've had so much cool conversations. today I met with a lady who we did a podcast episode, and she totally understands trust. I read a book on this. She read the same book, and
so
now she took off with it. I know. And I'm like, I think now that I'm starting to understand what I read the book about, I think.
Yes.
But there's, just meeting new people, having great conversations is what it's all about. So I think that'd be awesome for you.
Yeah, right? I love that idea. Definitely.
So how can people find you if they're interested, if they are your target audience, if they are women who are wanting to grow in the corporate setting, but also create balance and throughout life as a whole?
Yeah, so the best place to find me, well, there's multiple places, but is my website. If you want to contact me directly, it's just at girlinhercoaching.com. And then I have an Instagram, which is a girl in her best life. So obviously there's a theme here, a girl and her whatever. And then a girl in her jeans is where I'm really active, and I'll probably change the name coming up. But those are the best places to catch me. You can always message me and, really easily get a hold of me.
That's awesome. And I'll have those links above, below, depending on where you're watching this. And you have a freebie as well, correct?
Yes, I have a freebie that goes over, it's basically a kind of a presentation that goes over how to negotiate and get a better paying job. So I will send that to you as well, so you can post it out.
Awesome. Yes, there will be a link here. If you are in the job space, absolutely grab that. That's a gold mine. Like literally it will make you more money. So make sure you grab that.
I promise you it will. I've done it multiple times myself. I know how to do it. It's not that hard. It's intimidating, but it's not hard.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been so much fun.
Yes. Thank you for having me. This is great.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Everybody go check out Dawn. Make sure you grab your negotiating resource here and go head over to her website afterwards. Have a blessed